What is up, guys? My name is Chris. You're going to know me as the 3 Mile Prepper. Now, I know, you're going to ask, what in the world is a 3 Mile Prepper? There's actually an analogy and a story that goes along with prepping called the 3 Mile. What would that be called? It's a 3 Mile analogy, and I'll tell you that here in a minute. But I want to welcome you to this channel. This is the very first video that I'm posting here on the 3 Mile Prepper channel. Now, many of you might know me by my other YouTube channel, The Unprofessional Dads, EDC, where I focus on knives, EDC, watches, wallets, flashlights, and other things like that. Much more fun, laid back. Well, I won't say fun. Outdoors, camping, survival, that stuff is very fun. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on this channel about prepping, about real world preparedness, but also about outdoors life. Camping, survival, doing the fun things. But you're not just going to watch me go out and camp. There's plenty of channels where you can see that. You're going to watch me go out and build shelters, and I'm going to teach you every step of the way what I'm doing and giving you my 20 plus years of experience. Now, to give you a really quick background of who I am, again, my name is Chris. And for a long time, I was an avid prepper and outdoorsman. Well over 25 years, actually all of my life. But for 25 years, I was devout in my prepping. I mean, I would, like people that know me will tell you, I took it all the way. But I also was an avid outdoorsman. I lived for 2 years in a tent, not because I was broke or destitute, but because I loved camping and surviving so much. I had a good career, went through some changes in life, and I decided I'm going to go camp and hike for a little while. So I spent a couple years under a tent and didn't spend a single night under a roof during that time period. And along the way, between the prepping, the camping, surviving, whatever you want to call it, I've learned a lot of skills, a lot of tradecraft, and I want to share those with you. I want to pass them on. But really, what I also want to focus on is prepping. And I want to teach you guys some of the things that I've learned, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen a lot of prepping channels, and there's two things that I do not like about them. Number one, the majority of them are doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. The world is ending. Politics, the weather, nuclear wars, the Mayan calendar. It's always another thing that's about to take us all out. Well, I'm not going to be talking about any of that on this channel. So if those are the things that you're interested in, I can tell you right now, you're at the wrong channel. What I will talk to you about is the fact that people lose their jobs all the time. The fact that natural disasters do happen sometimes. We saw in North Carolina recently, hurricanes came through, wiped out entire towns. We've seen earthquakes, we've seen different things like that. We've seen fires, we've seen train spills where people have to leave their homes. But also we see that actually people go through situations where they do lose their job and they have to go a while without income. No way of buying food. So you want to be prepared for those situations like that. Also, what if a snowstorm hits? We just had that recently. A couple of weeks the boys were out of school, and yes, I do have kids. And for a couple of weeks, the kids were out of school. And a lot of people lost power. What are you going to do in that situation? The hotels are full, and you have no way of warming your family. There's ways of doing that. I want to teach you guys some stuff about bug-out bags and some things that I've learned and some things that I see other people doing in their bug-out bag videos that I completely disagree with. And I actually lived this stuff for a long time. And I followed those videos. I followed those methods, those guidelines. And I realized along the way, this works, that doesn't. This works, that doesn't. Let's get rid of that tactic. Let's add this one in. And I want to share that stuff with you. And I'm going to do that right here in a second. I'm going to show you some basic tips about a really well-balanced bug-out bag. Now, I'm not going to show you everything in my bug-out bag. You can find that stuff anywhere and everywhere all over YouTube. What I will do is I'm going to show you a couple key things in my bug-out bag, and I'm going to tell you why they are so important and things that I do not hear anybody else on other channels talking about. Now, really quick, Let me tell you the story about the 3 miler so that you know where the name 3 Mile Prepper comes from. There's an analogy in the prepping world about a dam that's going to break. It's going to burst, whatever you want to say. And there's a town at the base of the dam. Now, when this dam bursts, as you can imagine, that town's going to get wiped away. And people start hearing the buzz, the chatter, the commotion. There's about to be something really big happen. And people always fall into 3 categories: the 1 miler, the 2 miler, and the 3 miler. The 1 miler are people who ignorance is bliss. They don't want to know. They don't think they can do anything about it. It's just too overwhelming. I don't want to focus on any of that. That's just terrible, horrible. I don't even want to think like that. Oh my gosh, I'd just rather get washed away. I'd rather not even see it coming. Just let it happen. I don't want to know anything about it. There are those people. Those are 1 milers. Then there's 2 milers. Now, 2 milers are your people that know that there's a serious problem. 2 milers are the people who are always talking about it. Man, we should really do something about this. This is a serious problem. Man, I need to start doing something. I need to get my family ready for this. Think I should do some preparedness? I should get some stuff together. Maybe I should throw some stuff in my truck just in case. But that's all they do. They know there's a problem. They talk about it. They're always planning, but they never do anything. And guess what? When the flood comes, they're going to get washed away just like the 1 milers. And then there are the 3 milers. Now, the 3 milers are the people you don't have to tell twice. They hear, they know, and they see it coming. They've already got their bags packed in the vehicle. The kids are loaded, buckled in, and they're halfway down the road before anybody else knows what's going on. 3 milers are always the people that see the forest for the trees. They know there's an issue and they are proactive about doing something about it. Now again, my channel is not going to be about doom and gloom. Again, there are plenty of channels about doom and gloom. And by the way, not all of my channels or videos are going to be me sitting here talking. I'm just giving you, this is my first video. I want to introduce myself to you all, and I want to tell you what this channel is going to be about. Now, in a few minutes, there are going to be some things I'm going to teach you and show you. Don't worry. But I do want to let you know who I am and what my mission statement of this channel will be. No doom and gloom, no politics, no religion, no end of the world stuff. You know why? I'm going to tell you. Because for 25 years, that was all I focused on. It was always the end of the world. It was always something next is going to terribly happen and I need to be prepared. And while I do think that I should have always been preparing, I was always learning skills. It was a hobby. It was a passion, and I did get a lot out of it. But also, I lived with a lot of turmoil and strife. I didn't enjoy life as much as I could have because I always was looking for that thing that was about to take us all out. I couldn't enjoy life. I was too worried and focused about what was coming. And guess what? It never came. I see channels right now on YouTube all the time called prepping channels, and they're always talking about, there's one in particular, and every other time I see their video, it's, oh guys, this is happening. Oh, this is big deal. This might lead to this or this or this or World War III or this or this or this, and that'll pass. And you would think, well, okay, maybe they're going to let their guard down and stop scaring people. But no, they'll find something else. And oh man, this is happening, guys. And it's and it never, ever ends. There's always something to be focused and worried about. And living your life in fear is no way to live. Trust me, take it from somebody who lived that way for a long time. Being prepared is wise. It's smart, especially if you got a family. But living in fear is absolutely no way to live. So on 3 Mile Prepper, we are going to take an attitude and a stance, whatever you want to call it, being proactive, being ready, but doing it within reason, not allowing ourselves to be consumed by what might happen or what can happen. This is all about, if you lose your job right now, go to your cabinets, and look in your cabinets. How long could you and your family live on what's in your cabinets right now? If there was no way to get any more food, you all had to live on what you've got in your home right now. Now, some of you are going to be fine because you are, to an extent, preppers, even if you don't know it. Most of you, though, would be in a lot of trouble. Maybe a week, ration it, stretch it out, maybe 2 weeks. Some of you all will get really, really lucky with what you have because you're always putting stuff back, you're always buying canned goods, and maybe you can get a month. But that's going to run out. And it would in those situations. So there is always a reason to be a prepper. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff in my bug out bag. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you some stuff that we're going to be doing on this channel coming up in future videos that I'll show you how to do. And I'll show you how to be prepared. Tips, tricks, lessons. You want to build a solar oven? I'm going to teach you how to build a solar oven in 30 minutes. And you can cook a roast outside in the sun with no electricity. I've done it before. You don't have matches. You don't have tinder. I can teach you all kinds of ways to start a fire. There's stuff all around you to start a fire, and I'll teach you some different stuff like that. I'm going to teach you how to make homemade candles that will burn 3, 4, 5 times longer than one of these will. And this is stuff that you can find in your cabinet. I'll teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do so many different things. Filtering and purifying water with the stuff that you find in the ground, or I won't say in the ground, but on the ground and all around you. I'm going to teach you stuff like that. It's really simple, really easy, and also really helpful, really fun. And I'm going to say this one last thing before I start showing you. Remember this. You can stockpile all the food you want, all the water that you want. It's much better to know how to purify water than it is to stockpile water, because you can only carry so much water with you. It's much better to know how to procure food, how to find food, how to live off of what you find out in the wild than it is to stockpile food. Now, I'm not saying don't stockpile. Obviously, that's the point of being a prepper. But having skills is far more important than having stuff. And we're going to talk about that. All right, so here you go. The first thing I want to talk about is bags, man. I see these people having bug out bags, and the first thing I'm like is, because I lived in a tent for a couple of years, I carried bags all the time. And I'll see these people and they'll have a bug out bag, and it'll be a backpack like this. Just a backpack or a duffel bag. And the first thing I'm thinking is, you are in trouble if that's your bug out bag. Do you know why? If you ever was in a situation where you needed a bug out bag, then you're going to be carrying this bug out bag for a while. And the last thing you want is a cheap bag that's going to wear out your back and shoulders. It won't carry the weight right. It won't carry it proportioned right across your back. It'll tear into your shoulders. Also, I'll see people and they'll have a family and they'll have one bug out bag, but they'll have 3 kids and a wife. If you are wanting bug out bags, then the very first step to creating bug out bags, don't worry about buying a whole bunch of gear. You got most of the stuff that you'll ever need for a bug out bag in your house right now. You might not know it, but trust me, you do. And those are the things I'm going to teach you. The very first thing that you need, though, is a good backpack. And not just one for you. You need a backpack for every single person in your family. Whoever's going to be traveling with you, whoever you are preparing for, they need a bag of their own. You've got a 5-year-old, they need a bag. Now, there's only certain things that you're going to be able to put in that 5-year-old's bag, but they need a bag. There are certain things that they're going to need to sustain them, their mental well-being. Toys, stuff like that. I'm going to show you, not a bunch of toys because you can't carry that stuff around, but there are things that you're going to need to give them peace of mind, to take their mind off of things. And those are things that they can carry in their bag. Super lightweight, but it's also fun for them. They're going to feel like they're a part of it. you're going to teach them. You're going to allow them to carry their own bag, but also whenever you're preparing and you're stockpiling this stuff, you can let them fill their bag. They're learning, they're a part of it, they're engaged, and it's good for the entire family. Now, the other thing, other than making sure that you have a bag for everybody in the family, make sure, and you don't have to get one like this. This is a super expensive $200 backpack. You don't have to get one like this, but you need to get a backpack. It's not about the size. It's about this right here. You need to get a backpack with really wide straps with a lot of padding. You need to get backpacks with back support. You also need to get backpacks that have these straps that go across your chest and across your waist to give you that full lower lumbar and your chest straps. You need to cinch that stuff down. That's going to give you more support because, again, if you are ever in a position where you're going to need a bug out bag, you're probably going to be carrying everything in that bug out bag for a while. And a bug out bag, usually, especially look at any video online, those bug out bags are loaded down with stuff, especially if you're talking about for a family of 3, 4, or 5 people. That's a lot of stuff to carry. And if you're carrying around a backpack like this within an hour, you are going to be miserable. Miserable. Plus, a backpack like this is not going to live up to very long to the rigors and the wear and tear of what your new life would be in a situation that you needed a bug out bag. Now, again, just having one in the back of your truck, having one in your closet, having one under your bed, stuff like that, it don't matter what the bag is because you're not actually using it. You have to think about what life will be like if you do have to use it. People always go through these steps of they think that just putting a bunch of stuff together is getting prepared, and it's not. And you'll learn that lesson once you get there. Trust me. And it's better, what do they say in the military? It's better to sweat in practice in time of peace than it is to bleed in a time of war. Kind of the same thing with this. You know, it's better to practice these types of things, to learn these skills now than it is to be in that situation and learn them then, because there's nothing you can do about it then. You're stuck with it. So the very first thing that I always tell everybody that's going to be getting a backpack or a bug out bag, the number one thing, the most important thing, the most expensive thing that you have, everything else can be what you find around your home that you already have. Don't spend any money on buying supplies if you don't need to. That's fine. The one thing that you need to spend money on, though, is the actual bag itself. Trust me on that. You need to have a good bag, or you will be miserable and you'll be wanting to throw that thing down. And remember, you can't just hand it off to other people because they're going to have a bag too. Otherwise, you could take turns carrying it. Now, in that bag, again, I'm not going to show you everything in that bag. I'm going to show you a couple things that are crucial, that are key. The number one thing I'm going to show you is this right here. Now, a couple things that you're always going to need in a prepper situation, in a bug out bag situation. If you ever got, God forbid, into that situation, you're going to need a flashlight. You're going to need a radio, a way to communicate. The problem with those things is they are depleting resources. They are finite resources, I should say. No matter how many batteries you pack, you're going to run out of batteries. And batteries are weight. Ounces lead to pounds in that bag, and pounds lead to pain on your shoulder and back. So you need to condense things down. You need to find ways of making things lighter, but also make things last longer. So this is a hand crank radio and flashlight. I can crank it up and I can turn it on. It is a flashlight. It is also a radio. It's got an antenna on here. It does have a beacon, SOS, in here. I do not have to get you know what? I'm going to have to stop this for just a minute and charge up my phone, and then I'm going to finish this up. We only got about 5 more minutes, so just bear with me, guys, and I'll finish this up. All right, guys, so we are back. Apologies about that, but, you know, the advancements of modern technology, I can charge my phone, and I'm right back at it. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is something that people take for granted a lot. This is something, and I'm going to get to the important things like food and water in a second, but I want to get a few smaller things out of the way because these are things that I don't see other people talking about in their bug out bags. And this is super important, especially if you have a family. Right here. And I just got a little sample pack right there. Boom. See what that is? Crayons. Boom. See what that is right there? Dominoes, playing cards, things like that. Coloring books. You need to have something, and this is where the kids' bug out bags and stuff that they can carry will come into play. You need something to take your mind off in those situations. Children having crayons, markers to color with and draw, they don't have to know what's going on in the situation or scenario. It can just be a power outage or whatever else, but you never know what the situation may hold. You know, so you want to be prepared for them, not just the food, not just the water, but also the mental aspect of it as well. You know, having some cards or some dominoes can take care of the whole family. It can take care of the adults. Having crayons, you don't always have the luxury of carrying around a lot of toys for the children. But crayons, markers, coloring books, puzzles, those types of things are very small, very compact, very lightweight, but they have so much intrinsic value in mental health, in distraction, in happiness, in not allowing the situation to overwhelm you and the people that you are with that you're responsible for. So I don't see people doing this in their bug out bags. They focus on food, water, batteries, medical supplies, but they don't worry about stuff like on the mental end. I would highly recommend that you do something like this. You put this in your bags, and remember, kids are going to have their bug out bags as well. And even if you don't have kids, you're just worried about yourself, you still need to have something like this. Something like playing cards, something that does not take any batteries, any type of electronics, nothing like that. Just something that you can do with someone else or by yourself, and you can have fun and a distraction for a little bit. You have no idea how much that can come into play and how handy that can actually be and helpful. All right. Another thing, I see people all the time with their cordage. And I'll see people with cheap Walmart cord and stuff like that. Listen, here's the deal. Duct tape, all those other things are great. The reason why in my bug out bags, I might throw some duct tape in there or something like that, but I'm staying away from as many things that's finite as possible. Everything, because again, ounces lead to pounds, pounds lead to pain. Everything that's in your bug out bag needs to be something that you can use more than once and on multiple different types of things. Building shelters, traps for animals, fishing line, surgical stuff. There are so many different things that you can do with paracord. Don't use cheap paracord because that's not real paracord. The filament inside has to be the 7 strands. It has to be real, official 550 paracord. It has to have a working load of about 150 to 175. It can hold 550 pounds. That's why it's called 550 paracord. But that's its breaking strength. That doesn't mean that it's safe to hold that a long period of time and continually. Using it once at 550 pounds, you're really stretching it and really putting it to its limits. Every time you use it after that, it's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and it's going to lose its value. So you want to have a working load of about 150 to 175. So have as much of this stuff as you can. Make sure it's legit. Going to Walmart and getting this cheap Paracord, this stuff is great. It's well and good. It'll definitely do the job, but it's expensive, especially because, you know, you're getting little, how many feet is this? 50 feet. I think this is around $5 or something like that. You can go online, spend $7, $8, and you can get 100 feet. You know, so you can actually save some money and you're getting the stuff that's a higher quality. You want to get military surplus if possible. You can find that online. Just Google it. That's the real deal stuff. And remember, try to get stuff that's not bright colors because you never know. You might want to set traps with it or build a shelter and you don't want to draw attention to yourself. But you need cordage. Duct tape is well and good, but duct tape runs out. Duct tape is super reliable and you can use it on anything. But how many rolls of duct tape do you want to carry? And duct tape can be heavy. Heck, I've got a roll right here. Duct tape is 3 times the weight, 4 times the weight of this right here. And I can only use this so much. As soon as I take a strip off, put it on something, that is gone forever. I can't reuse that. So I'm not saying don't carry duct tape. I'm saying carry stuff that you can use multiple times on multiple different things. And paracord is the best. You can use other cord, twine, different things like that. Nylon rope, different things. But nothing works better than paracord because so much length fits in a smaller, because it is so thin, but also so strong. So I definitely highly recommend paracord. Here you go. Here's an important one right here. This is a life straw. I'm going to tell you a lesson that I learned, and this goes in with this right here. This is an ER bar. An ER bar. There are 3,600 calories in this, and it comes in one big square, but you can actually feel how it's perforated, so you can break it off into different chunks. There are 9 blocks in this, so each block can be a meal. And this stuff actually tastes like sugar cookies, and it does not induce thirst. A lot of times when you'll eat something, it'll make you thirsty. Energy bars, emergency meals, stuff like that. If you don't have water, you're going to get really, really thirsty after eating that stuff. Something like this does not induce thirst. So you can eat this even if you don't have something to drink. Now, you always want to have something to drink in those situations, but these are great. You can get stuff like this offline. They're super cheap. They're not very expensive. You can carry one of these for each of your family, and you've got 2 or 3 days worth of emergency food in one thing for each one of you. Here's the thing. Oh, and by the way, here's a life straw. This will filter up to 1,000 gallons of water. Here's the thing that I'm going to tell you I learned, and I learned this the hard way. I had been prepping for years. Went through a divorce. I had a big house, a whole bunch of, well, I won't say that because it just comes off the wrong way. Let's just say I had a spare bedroom. And that bedroom was much bigger than this room that I'm in. And this is a pretty big room. This is my office. You'll see it on the Unprofessional Dad's EDC. I'm on the other side of the room. Normally I'm on the other side of my desk. But I had that room, one end of the room to the other, one wall to the other, ceiling to floor. There was little walkways, and it was completely, when I say stocked, full of every type of food you can imagine in the middle of the aisles, because I had them in aisles in there. I had stacks and stacks of 50 pounds of beans and flour and sugar, and I had everything you could imagine. I had so much food. I could have fed 10 people for years. Here's the thing, though. I moved. Do you know what type of an issue that was? Do you know what type of a problem that was? Plus, nothing ever happened. The end never came. All those things I was prepping for never happened. You recycle that food, yes, but you can only recycle so much. Do you know what I ended up doing with all that food? And I'm talking, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars I lost in that, that I had been prepping for years. I had tote after tote in another room, stacked up, tote after tote after tote, rows of totes. I had so many totes full of batteries, so many totes full of bandages and Band-Aids and aspirin and Tylenol and everything else you can imagine. I was stockpiling all that stuff. I moved. One time, I literally was begging every person that I knew to come bring as many grocery bags as you can. Garbage bags, grocery bags, whatever you want. Come to my house, go grocery shopping. Baby wipes, don't buy them. I've got boxes, I've got cases of them lined up. Come and get them. Batteries, I've got them. Come get them. You like coffee, cans of coffee? I got Folgers out the wazoo. Come and get it. Come and get this food. I had so many people come into my house and grocery shopping, and all that money was just walking out the door. Now, here's where that's going to come into play. Maybe you're somebody and you're like, well, I've lived here for years. I own this place. I'm never going to move. Same situation. You never know what's going to pop up. You might have to sell. You never know. But here's the deal. Preppers are prepping for something to happen down the road. And a lot of times it is for a doomsday scenario. And the majority of times, if something like that ever happened, you would not be able to stay in the location you're at because of one thing or another. You will have to eventually leave and go somewhere else for one reason or another. And when that happens, all of that time, all of that energy that you spent stockpiling all that stuff is wasted. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying don't stockpile food and water. You should, just in case you ever lose your job or whatever, so that you can be prepared if you need a month or two without a paycheck to go to the grocery store. You're good to go. Those things are fine. Getting overboard, all you're doing right there is you're wasting, plus you're going to be buying and preparing and spending all of your time, all of your energy, and all of your resources preparing that stuff for the next person that's going to come along that's going to take it from you, or that's going to find it when you're long gone, because you can't take that much stuff. You can't haul that around. In your bug out bags, you can't carry a lot of food. We already talked about the bags being heavy, being hard to carry, wearing your shoulders and your back out. Imagine if you had a bunch of canned food and water in that. So here's the thing I always say. Don't worry about packing food and water in your bug out bags. People are going to say, well, you're crazy. You should definitely have a canteen full of water. Obviously. You should definitely have something like an MRE or an emergency ration. You should definitely do that. What I'm saying is you should not pack a lot. The reason why is because water is everywhere. Mud puddles, sewage. You can find storm drains. You can find water everywhere. So one of these, which is lightweight, a couple ounces, will filter out 1,000 gallons of water. And I don't have to carry nothing except for this. I can wrap it around my neck. I don't even feel like I'm carrying anything. And I've got a ton of water. And trust me, water is everywhere when you actually look. Water's everywhere. Now, it ain't the kind of water you want to drink. But in those situations, you're going to do whatever you have to. So it's better to be prepared with something like this. And here's the other part of this. Learn skills, which we're going to do on this channel. We're going to learn how to filter water out of things that you can find in nature all around you. An old water bottle. Take that, poke holes, and you stuff it with some sand, you stuff it with some gravel, you stuff it with some grass, you do some different things, and you create an actual gravity filter. All you have to do then is boil the water. You filtered everything out, now boil it, and boom, you're good to go. You can take 15 minutes and you can purify whatever water you need. And that's easy to do. And it's better to learn skills than it is to stockpile and store up and spend a whole bunch of money. Skills will save your life. All that other stuff is just wasted resources. Because again, you can only carry so much. You can only use so much. And what happens if nothing ever happens? You can only rotate that stuff so much. So a lot of people lose their preparations and their stockpiled food. It happens all the time. Here's a little myth. I have a buddy, and I was talking to him one time. He was like, if that ever happens, my family's from the wilderness. They're out in, I live in Kentucky. He's like, I live out in Pikeville, Kentucky. My family does. Home of the Hatfields and McCoys. You've seen that movie with Kevin Costner, or the TV series. You've heard that story, Hatfield and McCoys. That's over near Pikeville. Harlan, that whole area down there in Eastern Kentucky, going over towards Virginia and West Virginia, that stuff over there. But he was like, I'm just going to go back to that area. There's all the wildlife you could want. Hunting, fishing. I'll eat like a king. Here's what people don't think. I hear people say that all the time. There is no bigger myth in the world when it comes to prepping than people thinking that they'll just wait and then they'll hunt for their food. Let me tell you something. If God forbid anything ever happened where you're going to need a bug out bag, so will everybody else. What do you think is going to happen to the wildlife when you have an entire population of a state, of a county, of an area who right now they don't need to hunt for their food? They go to the gas station, they go to the grocery store, they go wherever, and they've got all the food they need. But when that stops, what are they going to do? There's a reason that there are things like the Duck and Wildlife Unlimited. There's a reason that you have to pay for deer tags to hunt and duck stamps to go duck hunting, pay for a hunting license, fishing license, because people will hunt to the point of extinction in an area, especially when everyone needs to eat. Let me tell you something. If he was to ever be in that situation, I'm talking about my friend, and he was to go back to Pikeville, Kentucky, where his family is from, and something really did happen, and that whole county who all has guns, who all hunts, they will decimate the wildlife in a matter of a month. There won't be a deer, there won't be a goose, a duck, a rabbit, a squirrel, there won't be a dog or a cat, because they will hunt everything, because everybody all of a sudden is needing food. People have this myth. They think that they'll just wait, and then when it happens, they will, my foot's itching, they'll deal with it then. In that situation, you're not going to. So learn your skills and prepare with things like this for water and things like this that are small, compact, and they have a lot of calories in a small area. You can break it off. You can eat one. You can eat 2 a day. 1 a day would probably do you in an emergency situation. I wouldn't recommend it. But in an emergency situation, one of these could definitely last a kid for 3 days. One of these. And they could carry that in their backpack. They could definitely carry a water straw. And your water and your food are taken care of. There are so many different things that I see people doing in their bug out bags that are so wrong. They have an idea of what it would be like and the things that they're going to need. And so much of what they put in bug out bags, they will never use and they will never need. I'm going to tell you right now, one last thing. I'm going to do a lot of fire starting stuff. I'm going to teach you guys how to do fires. I'm going to teach you different kindling, and I'm not kindling. I'm talking not just cotton and Vaseline, making your own little things. I'm talking about the way that you take dryer lint and you put that in egg crates and you break those off into little chunks and you got little balls and you can wrap those in wax and you've got you pack 3 or 4 of those in a bag and you're good to go for a week, 2 weeks. Depending on how long you can keep the fire going. Different things like that. I want to teach you how to, different things like potato chips, the best kindling in the world. Why? What are they made with? Oil. Boom. Batteries. How do you start fires with batteries? Magnifying glasses, all that different stuff. But we're also going to talk about, like I said before, how to get water in hard situations where water is hard to be found. You can do that. Dig a hole, fill it with some vegetation, leaves, grass, cover that hole with the clear plastic or a tarp, put a cup underneath of it in the hole with a rock on top. That vegetation will let all that moisture out. It'll catch on top of that tarp, sink down to the bottom because of that rock, and it'll drop right down in that glass. It's a terrible way to have to do it because it takes so long. But there are emergency things that you can do that will get you the things that you need to survive if you know how to do them. And that's what we're going to focus on this channel moving forward. So we're going to have some fun. I'm Chris, the 3 Mile Prepper, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you a 3 mile mentality We're going to have fun along the way. And yeah, so guys, I've been doing this a long time. And for a long time, people was telling me, you should start a channel, and I didn't. But then I started the Unprofessional Dads EDC. It's kind of changed my life, and I'm in a different position and a place now. One last thing, I keep saying that. I know, I apologize. This is me. I ramble a lot. But me and my friend Greg, we used to open the Prep Shack, or we used to own the Prep Shack. It was a store where we sold prepping supplies, camping supplies, survival supplies, knives, hatchets, axes, gun stuff, hunting stuff, fishing stuff, whatever it was a outdoor survival prepping all in one kind of a store. We had a great time. We did really well. 2020 happened and we closed it down. After 2020, it crushed businesses everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to start using some of those products that we have from the Prep Shack, and I'm going to show you how to use them. So we're going to put that stuff to use, and you will see how to do some cool stuff. Build emergency shelters, build lean-tos. A lot of channels, you will watch them do it, but they don't teach you. They don't tell you, this is what you do right here, and this is why you do it. Telling you what to do goes in there in one ear and out the other. But if they explain to you why they're doing it along the way, it creates those aha moments. And aha moments will stick with you longer. It's like, oh, I get that now. I see why they've always done that. I always wondered why they did that way. That's what we're going to do. We're going to create aha moments for each and every one of you that watch the channel. Hopefully you guys do. Like, subscribe, follow. This is going to be a fun channel. And remember, no doom and gloom. This ain't about the end of the world. This ain't about the apocalypse. This ain't about none of that, because I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of channels focusing on that, and tomorrow we're still going to be here. And if we're not, it's not going to matter anyways. The day after that, we'll still be here. But you do need to prep for certain things. And you can use these skills even if you're not a prepper, even if you just want to go outside and use them for some surviving and camping type situations and scenarios, just to test your skills and to teach your kids. And we're going to have a good time. I'm Chris, the 3 Mile Prepper, also known as the Unprofessional Dad. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, like, subscribe, and follow. There's more to come. See you guys in the next video.